Man, I wish I knew to look up how to set goals. I wish I knew how to set goals. I never was really taught about how to make a plan and how to think about the things that you want for your future self. I know that in school sometimes they talk about or go over SMART goals, but it was more always like as a quick 5-minute assignment in the middle of like a random class versus here's a practice that we're going to implement in your life to propel you for success and to set you up for success. If you've never set a goal or never accomplished a goal or don't have your shit together right now, I totally understand. And I totally relate with that, because how could you know how to get your shit together when you don't know how? Like, how can you do that when you don't know how? You don't have the support, you don't know who to go to, you don't know who to talk to. How do you do all that when you're doing it all alone? There's even those hurdles of even knowing where to go for information. I know when I was younger, I would probably never be searching up how to set goals. I would probably search up how to make money. I would search how to handle the dating scene, stuff like that. But it was never, how do I set a goal? I just want to preface this with being able to relate with not knowing. And yeah, I hope that brings you some comfortability and validation, in the sense that if you don't know where you are or where you're going right now, that's fine. But this is why we're here today, and I'm proud of you for showing up today. With that being said, I want to talk about why we have a hard time setting goals, or maybe why you can't stick to a goal or can't necessarily accomplish the goal. Everything is going to start in childhood. Everything is going to start in childhood. When you don't know how to properly set a goal, and if you aren't aware of the SMART goals, the SMART structure is framed to set goals that are measurable and attainable. And if you're having a hard time meeting your goals, if you're having a hard time setting them at all, it could be the lack of knowledge, the lack of application and structure. The reason we need to have goals is to provide structure in our own life and be able to understand the day-to-day tasks and be present in those tasks. A lot of the times we live our lives on autopilot, and we get up, go to work, come home, eat, watch TV, scroll, talk to a friend, and go to sleep. That's pretty much the cycle for everyone. Everyone has a different lifestyle and different tasks that they do every day. But not everyone is doing those tasks for the same purpose and the same reason. Over time, when you're stuck in this autopilot mode, just going with life and going through the same motions every single day, you begin to feel incomplete and lost. And this type of loss that you feel, it's very isolating, because in the physical material world, you don't look lost, you aren't lost. But spiritually and mentally, you are. At soul level, you are, because your soul is not being heard. And when we set goals, they're typically the goals that the person inside of us, the soul, the being inside of us, those are things that we truly want. And that soul and that being, remember that that is the same person as you. It just is not in a human physical form. So whatever your soul actually wants, or whatever that person inside you wants, that is actually you. And when you keep suppressing their voice, you basically kind of lock them away, and you lose them, you hide them, and you don't remember where you put the keys, you don't remember where you left that person, and now you're really lost. Do you follow what I'm saying? So that's why we need to set goals, not just for a monetary gain or a appearance or a physique. It's to really tune in and listen to the voice of our hearts. If you go back and listen and watch How to Be Her in 2024, I go over getting honest about what you want and who you are and where you are now. And that type of exercise is never to make you feel shame or unease in any type of way. It is just to be honest and meet with yourself, have that face-to-face conversation with yourself. A lot of the times we'll talk to anybody. We'll talk to a therapist, a counselor, or a friend and tell them everything that's going on. But have you ever tried doing that with you? Not just thinking in your head, having a conversation or writing it down. We need to get honest about what we really want inside. Now that we understand where we're coming from and the value in setting goals, let's go over how to actually do them. I want to talk about the SMART method, which is S for specific, M for measurable, A for achievable, R for relevant, and T for time bound. So let's go to specific. What do you want to accomplish? And I'm going to share with you some my personal goals. Clear skin, toned body. Measurable. How will I know when it is accomplished? My stomach will be flat, it won't be like punched. I can fit into a size 4. I won't have large inflamed acne scars. I'll have an even skin tone. The texture of my skin will be smooth, which it's really coming together. But I look good. I'm not gonna lie, I lost like, I wanna say like 15 pounds, like 3 inches. But hey, I'm doing good. And achievable, how can the goal be accomplished? I totally skipped past achievable. I put sweat 4 times a week. Yeah, you could say workout, but I put sweat 4 times a week. I upped it up from 3 times a week to 4. Continue a plant-based, vegan-like diet. Less snacking, less smoking, because when I smoke, I eat a lot. No meat. Try to stay away from meat as much as possible. That is what I put for achievable. And the next part is R for relevancy. Does this seem worthwhile? Is this something that when you accomplish, you're gonna be like, yeah, bitch, yeah, I hate a wood clad. Is this something worthwhile? Is this something that you actually want to do, or people are telling you want to do? Is this something that you're just putting down because it's easier to attain than something that you should really be working on? Let's be real. But for me, this was super relevant. This was something I have prolonged long enough. This is something that I've always envisioned, that my higher self, when I'm an adult, that's what I'm gonna look like. And now that I'm 24, there's no excuse. I need to be that version of me. That needs to happen now. I come from a family where everyone's big. Everyone in my family has a belly, and it's always like just kind of like hangs, like if you're pregnant. And I see all their health problems. Both of my parents had diabetes. That ties in with my acne. I've had very acne prone skin ever since I got my period. Well, not since I got my period, maybe like 15. And ever since I became like a teenager, I've had really bad acne. In June, I went plant-based. I guess you could say vegan, but like kind of like vegetarian, because I'm not like super strict. I love cheese, you know what I'm saying? But like it really is a major cutback. I had a carne asada taco in Guatemala. Oh my god, I threw up all the next day. My body is just so used to not eating meat. Those things, like it definitely made a difference, along with like my physical activity and exercise. There's a lot of other health benefits that we can talk about later, and I want to distinguish that, because the goals that I am talking about are very much appearance based, and I don't want to encourage a standard that is unrealistic, because everyone is beautiful in their own right. Okay, now T for time bound. When can I accomplish this goal? Now, when you are thinking of setting goals, I know we want to get it done as soon as possible. I know. If we just work really hard, we know we can get it done. But babe, if you don't give yourself enough time, and when that time comes, you're gonna give up. You're not even gonna try. As soon as you see that you're hitting that deadline and you have not come nowhere near, you're literally going to give up. You're not gonna really care. You're just gonna be so unmotivated because you just don't have enough time. So what's the point? When you're thinking of putting a time on something, for any type of goal, give yourself extra time. Give yourself enough time to do little tasks that will compound eventually, and one day you'll look back and see how far you came. When you give yourself more time, not only will it be more realistic and attainable and more easier to plan out the little tasks in the day-to-day leading up to the deadline, you are setting yourself up for success doing this. So say that, you know, you did give yourself a lot of time and you're practicing in the day-to-day on how to achieve this, and over time you realize, wow, I'm actually really good at this. I'm ahead of schedule. You'll feel motivated. You'll be like, yeah, I got this. Yeah, no one can stop me. I did what I said I was gonna do. And when you do what you said you were gonna do, you gain so much respect for yourself. You believe in yourself more. Your word has value. You walk with more integrity because you know that when you say you do something, you're gonna do something, you do it. Set yourself up for success and put a time on the goal, but make sure it's attainable and you give yourself enough time to work towards it gracefully. So now that you laid out your SMART goal, you can then go back and plan out the little steps. What are the next little steps that you can do today? Hold on, let me fix my hair. Do you guys like my pins? I know, it's super cute. After you set your measurable, attainable goals, write down the next steps that you can take today. The first 3 little steps. Or not the steps that you can take today, but write the next steps to take them. So when I had originally wrote this, this was like a while back, right? 5 months ago. First one was 2 times a week intense workouts. The second one was plant-based diet. And the third was going to a dermatologist. Now I scheduled a dermatologist, but I'm gonna be honest, they didn't really have room for me until February, which is fine. But you see my face. You know what? It's because I started looking into different types of doctors and like Chinese herbal medicine. Yes, you know what? I've been using Elix traditional Chinese medicine. It's a supplement to balance your hormones and prep your body for your menstrual phase. It's an oil that you put into like your tea or drink or whatever. They have oils for like a daily intake regardless of your cycle. But the reason I started taking that and I got the assessment done on me and everything was because I had talked to other dermatologists. Yeah, so I was already talking to different dermatologists. Even though I couldn't really meet with one right away, I was still talking to other ones. And they were telling me that my acne was hormonal based because it was kind of like all like right here, like right here. So they told me it was hormonal. So I was looking into how to balance my hormones, which I freaking love that brand. I also have a 20% off code. Yeah, go ahead and use it. So those were the steps I had written down, and from there, from those steps, you can work your way down into how you can implement smaller tasks in your day-to-day. I also have a free downloadable goal setting template that you can use to help you get started on this. So that's my advice on how to set goals and make a plan for your life. I want to end with emphasizing to please give yourself the room to dream. There's nothing in this world that isn't attainable without hard work and a plan. Give yourself the room to practice discipline. Give yourself the room to dream big.